qualifier owns 12 PBA Tour titles, including 2 majors. Former PBA Player of the Year from Double Oak, Texas, Chris Barnes.
Chris has made it to 34 title matches, winning 12. Perfect start for Barnes.
The number 3 qualifier won the Shark Championship at the 2010 World Series of Bowling for his first PBA Tour title representing Finland, the Big O, Osku Palermaa.
The native of Espoo, Finland. His best major finish prior to this event, 5th at the US Open several years ago.
Very interesting that Osku was certainly watching Jason Belmonte. That's why he's going with the natural, which is a urethane bowling ball on the right lane and a natural pearl on the left lane.
Jason Belmonte, also a two-handed bowler, rolled in this competition on Friday, took care of Wes Malott and moved on. And Osku telling us the other day, I kept a close eye on what Jason did. Our styles are very similar, obviously, with the two-handed approach.
Wait a minute, wait for it.
Got it!
I think the real interesting thing, though, is he's playing the extreme outside part of the lane. He's out at the first arrow. Watch this. That went right over the 4th board. You want to talk about a huge break early on in a major championship. You just saw it right there.
That covered a lot of ground with that messenger. Here's Barnes to close out the second. Dialed in through 2, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, we talked about Chris Barnes trying to win the Triple Crown in the Open. I think it's only fair to mention the other players. I'll do that right after we talk about Chris's arsenal. It's going with the world beater, the strongest, most aggressive bowling ball in his bag. The other 5 Triple Crown winners: Billy Hardwick, Johnny Petraglia, Mike Albee, Pete Weber, and Norm Duke.
Good company.
Wait.
7 weebles and wobbles, but will not fall down.
Great shot, bad break. Plain and simple. Here he comes right at you, Chris Barnes. A little bit different setup. Kind of tilts that wrist a little bit towards the inside to try to create a little bit more side roll. It cleans up the front part of the lane and gives him a nice, stronger back-end reaction. Chris generally likes to roll it real heavy up the back. Now trying to create a little more axis rotation, Rob.
So our first spare of our first match of the day. Barnes down 1. Osku Palermaa. 1 tour title at the Geico Shark Championship. He won in November. And that win qualified him for next week's 2011 PBA Tournament of Champions. Live coverage next Saturday on ABC, 2:30 Eastern. Off target for the first time.
And that's the only problem with playing the extreme outside line and throwing a urethane bowling ball. You can't miss to the right. Now, if we were bowling on Cheetah, that probably would have made it back no problem, but not on Viper. There's oil outside.
Whoa. Whoa is right. Open frame for Osku as we take a look at our lumber liquidators. Know the wood, and Barnes and Palermaa bowling on the Viper oil pattern today.
Yeah, and both players playing the lanes completely different. Osku Palermaa is deciding to try to throw that straight outside line, while Chris Barnes is in trying to feed the track area. The Viper does lend itself to multiple patterns, but I'm not real sure about that outside line. And this is exactly why. A little bit too far to the right, the ball hangs. He misses to the inside on that shot, and it goes through the nose.
After a great start for Palermo, a pair of opening strikes, he has gone open frame, and now hopefully for him a spare. That was an angry ball down the lane.
Rob, remember when we watched Jason Belmonte use urethane? He played the track area right around second arrow. And he found a home there. And I don't like the extreme outside line on the Viper.
Third strike for Barnes, who admitted to us, Randy, the high rev rate guys on today's show are going to make the lanes different today than they were last night for him.
Yeah, but you know what? He's finding a way to do it with his touch at the bottom of the swing. He's being, in his own words, real nice to it at the bottom. As soon as he grabs too much bowling ball at the bottom of the swing, it's going to jump early and hook.
There's his wife, Linda, watching in good spirits. One of the most talented female bowlers out there. Back-to-back jacks for Barnes.
Real soft hand at the bottom of the swing, Rob. He's able to keep the bowling ball on line.
He admitted last night that he had fun last night bowling. Relaxed, was in the moment. He, I think, can get into that habit of maybe overthinking, overanalyzing things because he has so much bowling knowledge.
And he certainly hasn't forgotten what happened at the Tournament of Champions a couple years ago when Michael Haugen beat him by 1. So I'm sure there was a little sweet redemption there as well.
Osku finds the pocket there, finally for him, after a run of open frame spare.
And when you look at the 8 finalists for this year's World Championships, the 2 that struggled the most on this oil pattern, Jason Belmonte, Osku Palermaa.
This, the second televised major event for Palermo, was in the 04 US Open show. Ten-pin will not fall.
Osku representing 14 different countries, 46 international players. We saw 2 international players win the World Series of Bowling,
Including Mr. Palermo.
and your favorite, the lefty from South Korea, Dr. Koo.
He threw that way too hard. I mean, he is just humming those single pin spares down, and that is going to bite him hard.
Well, and that's 2 missed spares, and you just can't afford to do that in a major championship, especially against the quality of players on today's telecast.
A major miss from Palermo, and again, only 5 have ever won bowling's Triple Crown. Says Chris Barnes, trying to join that elite list today. The conclusion of his match with Palermo when we check back in to Vegas.